Hey Carrie, alright, so here we have your reading, and thank you for being so patient. It's been hectic. I'm sure it's been busy for you too. I hope you're having a really good, smooth new year kind of thing, and that everyone's, hanging in there. So, okay. All right, so we're going to go to where you were, what you did with the majority of your time, an important day, relationships and feelings, another important day, relationships, feelings, the death, the lesson learned, and a time throughout. I went through that quick because I just want to say, so as I'm shuffling, there's a lot of stuff coming through, so just bear with me, and again, whatever resonates with you, awesome, and what doesn't, just tuck in the back of your mind for, if it comes up in weeks, months, year kind of thing. Remember, you can make direct connections, opposite connections. Direct comes right from here. Opposite is your soul has experienced it here, so it likes to experience other things in other lives to learn those lovely lessons. So just keep your eye out for that, but I'm going to help you however I can, all right? So all I'm doing is relaying you the images and the impressions coming through. Your job is to make connections with them. Now the thing is, what's coming through, like big time, for some reason, before I even like get into this, there is like, so a lot of emotions going through me, and there is a sense of, and we'll get into it, maybe it'll explain, I'm sure we'll explain more, but I gotta start out, get a notebook and pen, by the way. It feels like there's something, honestly, about, feeling cooped up, feeling disappointed, not, something like not, thinking about maybe something that you never completed or never finished or even never started but had in your mind. It feels creative. It feels like there's something where you're not doing a creative output that you either one used to wish for, desire, or new ones that you're ignoring and not doing because you might feel like there are other priorities. So it feels like there's something about, it feels like there's this energy that needs to be let out, and it also feels in the way of even like, I need to get out of here, I need to get out of, like, I need to travel, I need to move, I need out of this routine, I need a shakeup, I need a that kind of thing. This could be coming through just because everyone's quarantining and getting like I forgot the word, but like feeling like, oh God, it's like I've been stuck in this house for so long, but it feels like it's more than that, where it comes to actually like the core of you and not feeling fulfilled. So let's go ahead and jump into this, see what's going on. But it feels like there's gonna have to be like a decision that you need to make to just do something. And I'm not talking about like starting on a new life and leaving everything behind. Like, it's not like drastic. It just feels like it needs to happen in order for you to feel the fulfillment that you might either one, know that you don't have, or two, feel like you can't have, or either don't deserve, or like it's too late for that, like that kind of thing. Those thoughts need to go away because it feels like there is something you need to be focusing on like now. So right off the bat, okay, where we're going. So this is the Europe card, and really honestly, the reason why I feel like this card is being laid out is because of what Europe represents to me, which is aesthetic, art, kind of like nostalgia and like history, but in the way that history is like legendary. Like it's very creative, it's very beautiful, it's very like the Europe coming through is the Europe of like opulence and royalty and clothing and fashion and like timelessness and like that, like dreamy and creative and impactful and something that stays with you a long time. So it feels like there's something very like rich and colorful and artistic and just like this vibe, right? So it feels like we're in this place where this vibe is just so palpable, and it feels like you're in the middle of it. And I want to say that's coming through, and connect how you can, but it feels like what I'm feeling is what you're missing in your current life. Like almost like you're like lackluster, or almost like if you find that no matter how great, like how much gratitude you show, or like finding beautiful things in the mundane, and that's all well and good, but there's also the idea of like reality. You might be feeling like life right now might feel a little bit like on a gray scale, and it's not feeling as rich or bold or beautiful or like visceral as you might want it. Almost like you're living, but you want to feel alive. That's what I feel like is happening here, is like just not feeling alive like you want to, like to the level you feel like you ought to, or that life should be feeling, if that makes sense. And this can very well come from routine. And again, it feels like there's something about like you needing to make a choice to shake yourself out of a routine, even though it might be really hard. Like where it's like, oh, I'm exhausted, I need to sleep. And really it's like, yes, you're exhausted and sleep, but you can wake up an hour earlier and dedicate that hour to something that you can build upon that will bring you great joy. Like that kind of thing that's hard to do because you really like that extra hour of sleep, but at the same time, it's like this is the time to make that small sacrifice or compromise when it comes to your own fulfillment, because the sacrifice and compromise that comes for your own journey is a good thing compared to sacrificing and compromising for someone else. You know what I mean? So it's like learning the balance of that and learning that like sometimes that kind of sacrifice is really good for you. Okay, so that's okay. Let's see what else is coming through from Europe. What's going on here? There's just so much color. There's so much color. It's almost like I want to say like do you like fashion? Are you thinking, have you thought about like designing your own fashion line? Have you thought about, do you get images in your head of dresses or coats, or you know, like things that you could like kind of draw and like outline or something, that like it's just this aesthetic appeal. And it's almost like a message of making sure that you're surrounding yourself in your home with the aesthetic that you want, that the aesthetic and here's the thing, is your aesthetic preference can change. And it should change. If you feel like changing, change. Like bring the aesthetic around you that is going to prompt you to be creative, to get the juices flowing kind of thing. So if your whole life your house has been like, you know, like a cozy brown, red, orange, warm color thing, and all of a sudden you're like, I want white and blue. You know, like that Grecian, like crisp thing, or something else. You know what I mean? Like make sure that you are attuning your surroundings or aligning your surroundings with the aesthetic that is appealing to your heart and soul. And if, let's say, you know, obviously you have a family, so if that doesn't like, you know, go over with everyone, then carve out a nook in your home where you can have the aesthetic, almost like if that's where you go and meditate, if that's where you go and work or take a breather or whatever it is. You need to create an aesthetic for you, and I feel like this is very important for you. Just sit with this and process, by the way. I mean, if it doesn't resonate, that's fine, but it's just coming through. It's also the idea of taking time to actually like enjoy an aesthetic, where it's almost like I see like the idea of even going online on Pinterest and looking at beautiful homes or beautiful interiors, beautiful clothing, beautiful with an aesthetic that pleases you. Because if you allow an aesthetic to kind of infiltrate your being just by looking at it, you're literally soaking up an energy, right? So there are certain aesthetics, like even that's why feng shui is such a thing, because the certain aesthetic of a layout of a room conducts an energy. So we're talking about making sure that you are surrounding yourself and also taking in an aesthetic that's going to be vibrant to your being and to your journey. That's going to, I want to say, like, propel you forward, make you want to move forward, make you want to I want to say just move, like more animation, more movement. Do you feel stuck? Do you feel stale? Do you feel stagnant? Do you feel like you're standing still? Again, this comes back to routine, and routine is healthy and good when it is healthy and good. But otherwise, routine can keep you stuck. And then you also feel like, oh, well, I have to keep this up because everyone's used to the routine. But, you know, if it's not healthy for you, it's likely that when you feel stale and stuck, that energy is vibrating around in waves to the ones that you love. And it's affecting them, whether they know it or not, whether you know it or not. And when you alter your energy field in those waves, that energy, because you are suddenly pleased, they're going to feel that as well. So it's almost like I want to say, it comes down to you and how, like, you are the thing that affects everyone around you, whether you know it or not. And it's like, why not be the most happy, pleased, fulfilled energy? And that's you're going to see a domino effect. And that does not come from pleasing other people. you might feel that way, like it's counterintuitive. You might be like, oh, well, when you're happy, I'm happy. And a lot of people get distorted with that when it comes especially like to their lovers or whatever. But it's more like when you're happy first, then that happy can spill over to everyone around you, and there's no resentment because you're full yourself. So it's like making sure you're full, and I feel like aesthetic is a way to go with that. And this is also like the idea of like with Europe, there's this idea coming through of like fountains, and I hear like fountains, like water falling, right? So it's almost like if you're not near water, like have you ever thought about having a fountain inside your home, like the ones that you plug in? Because that's an aesthetic as well. This can also be about audio aesthetic, like what sounds good around you. Are you listening to music? Do you ever play music in the home that's like lovely? Like have you thought about playing like music scores or like instrumental like music, even classical music, just like putting it on so it's kind of like floating through the air as you move about your day? Like it's kind of interesting. Like, so I almost want to say just try it and see how you feel about it. See how it makes the energy different for the day if you just take one day and try that. Also, what happened was also when I shuffle and when I start laying the cards and stuff, stuff starts coming in like right away. It's not like once the cards are laid then it comes in. It's like all the whole time. So I had to adjust the light in here because it was too dark, and I felt like that was directly correlated with the reading here. So if you keep your shades down, or if you keep windows closed or shaded or something like that, and maybe you enjoy that and that's fine, it can be very cozy like that, but for some reason I want to say like open the blinds and even open the windows, like let the light in. There's something like you need to let the light in, and if you do, that's fine. Then that means that you need to get outside and get under the sun or get some sun, and you need to put your feet in the ground, like feet on the grass, sun on the face. If you haven't gotten enough fresh air or gotten out enough, I'm talking about you, like you just go and take some time, and like even if it's sitting, I would say move. Honestly, I'd say walk in the sun kind of thing. Like go to the beach if you can and like walk and like soak up the rays of the sun, because there's something about the light that's I feel like is needed. It's interesting because I feel like a lot of information is coming through and it's not so much about a specific past life, but let's go ahead and see what we're looking at here. Okay, so the what you do with the majority of your time card. So this card is the slavery card, but this is not a slave. Like we are not. These are about. I feel like it's more about concepts. This is the feeling of being a slave to the environment, a slave to your. I want to say like to the role that you are supposed to play in this life. I'm trying to see what's going on. This is a female life, and that has to do with it too, is the idea of the role of the good girl. Now, if you are playing with that role yourself, the role of the good wife, the good mother, the good daughter, the good sister, the good friend, the good girl, that kind of thing, you have to look at the role, you have to look at the aspects of the role that you have kind of assigned to yourself. And you have to see where you have permission blocked from expressing yourself a certain way, thinking a certain way, being a certain way, doing certain things. And you need to see what is blocking you and who is not giving you permission, because you need to be the one that gives you permission to unblock any blocks that there are that are keeping you from behaving a certain way, speaking a certain way, wanting certain things, thinking certain thoughts, thinking certain things are okay or not okay, like that kind of thing. So we're talking about programming. So this feels like someone who is, so this is a female, okay, and what the visual I'm getting of her is someone who is dressed to the nines in a bright red dress, and she has like curves out the wazoo, and she has like one of those fur muffs around the hands, and she has a big brimmed hat that's high society. So we're looking at someone who is like high society and dresses like magnificently and takes care of herself, and she enjoys that aspect of it, but it's also part of the role that she is kind of like expected to play. However, she loves it. So this is a message that it's up to you to define the role that you play. And here's the thing, it's like almost like if you've been afraid to express yourself in a way, whether it comes to wearing certain things that you love, but that you feel like, oh, I can't wear that. That's not, like, oh, I get, like, I need to move, you know, a certain way during the day, or, you know what I mean? Like, let's say you want to dress in something that's kind of like clingy or restrictive, and you know what I mean? Like feminine, like, I can't explain it, like this, like, honestly, she's wearing like this red dress that is like, you know what I mean? Like, even for the times that she's in, and it feels like we're looking at like the 1930s or something like that. It's almost like in Paris, like how you would imagine. It's almost like there's a movie called Miss Pettigrew Lives for a Day. And it's funny because this movie came through another reading like a couple weeks ago. But it's the main character that we're looking at here, where she's just dressed as like, you know, like, it's just, and she goes to a fashion show, and it's like, you know, like, it's just so like in your face, and it's like she's proud of it and she's able to pull it off, and it's like, it's not because of how she looks, it's her confidence. So I feel like I want you, in whatever way you're feeling insecure that's stopping you from expressing yourself, whatever's coming to mind right now, if anything, take whatever steps you need that you know you can take towards that version of yourself. Because this is a year to transform. Like, this is the time to take steps to transform into the version you've always wanted. And it doesn't mean you have to like do this every day, but like once a week, like, if you like dress up, like, I don't even know why I want to say that, just like play dress up, like have fun, and like play into what you want to do. Like if you have an idea where you're like, oh no, like what's coming through is like sometimes I like to go to Goodwill and I like to look at the dresses, because you can find like prom dresses and beautiful dresses, and it's like, whoa, this is fun, like, to, oh my god, $10, like, you know, like, and it's like, go have fun. And like, even like the idea came through when I was shuffling too, of like redesigning them, like taking a dress and like playing with it and like restitching it and reforming it, or whatever it is. Like, the message is like play with aesthetic. Like, and maybe this has to do with getting in touch with your inner child, because that's what we do when we're kids. We play dress up, and it's fun, and we don't care what people think and stuff like that. And it's like, this could be a formula for you to get in touch with your inner child, where, I'm not saying you're not in touch, but there are levels, right? Like, healing never stops. This whole life is about like undoing programming, understanding, you know, how we were traumatized as kids, and using that trauma and our wounds and our triggers to transmute it into energy that is helpful, that helps us achieve our dreams, that we can use, that makes us stronger, like that kind of thing. So, you know, even if you feel like you're in touch with your inner child, this is like, go deeper. Like, go deeper and play more. Like, just get down and dirty with it, and like play dress up, and like that just keeps coming through. So, you know, bear with me. I start repeating myself when there's something here. Like, there's gotta be something here. But it's also, the card again is slavery. So it's like, get out of the mindset that you have allowed to become patterned in a certain way in regards to what you're allowed to do to express yourself, just to feel joy, just to feel like fun, like creative fun. So it's like, get out of any slavery mindset you might have. Like, again, it comes down to the roles that you put yourself in, but like, expand the roles. Like, you can redefine those roles however you want. So play with that idea, sit with that, see how it feels with you. This also, a quick mention, this woman is of higher class. This woman is, so she's of a higher class, but she also okay. So she's higher class, and she dresses in a way that would be considered, I want to say, a little bit provocative, right? For that, like, there's something like supposed to be conservative, but there's a provocativeness to it, and it's because she is confident, because she's like, well, I'm a duchess, so I can do what I want, like that kind of thing. So she gives herself permission to do those things, but it's because she has the confidence of like who she is. So there does come a confidence with knowing who you are, and the more you play and get in touch with yourself and allow the creativity to come up and go with the flow of your ideas and what sparks joy, confidence comes with that when you take the steps to follow through with it. And when you follow through with it and you see that, oh, ugh, it's not so bad. Like, so what? Like, so what if people think that you're a little nutso or what? You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter. You know, like, do it on your own time, do it in private if you want, but like, it doesn't matter what anyone thinks when you start to feel how it feels to follow through with what feels joyful to you. That confidence comes because you're just like, I'm doing what I want. Sorry, you guys can't, you know, have as much fun as I'm having, but I'm having a ball. And I'm gonna keep having a ball. It's like once you take the steps towards doing that, you don't go back, and you don't want to. And also, by you doing that, you're setting an example not just for your kids, but for people around you who, even the ones who you might think are judgmental, and to your face they might be, but behind closed doors, they're like, dang, I wish I had her confidence. I wish I could take those steps. And maybe you will inspire people to do that just by being true to yourself in taking those steps, okay? So I'll leave you with that. We're gonna go to the first important day here. Also, I do need to mention too, this aspect is highly feminine, like highly feminine. So if you've ever had issues when it comes to your femininity, tapping into your feminine energy in whatever way, this is coming through. I want to say more than anything for you to acknowledge it, but also to give yourself permission to tap into it as much as you want. There might be, if you have any insecurities about showcasing certain feminine aspects of yourself, it's time to try your best to drop it and let go of that, and to just, I want to say embody the movements or the voice or the movement is really coming through of the feminine, the divine feminine, and allow that to flow through you in whatever way feels comfortable for you to start with at first, okay? That can come from dance. Even if you have to dance alone in your room and dance fluidly and you know, in ways that you might be embarrassed to dance in public or whatever, but like just move with your body. Like you have all this feminine energy. It's like tap into that. You know what I mean? So there's that. Okay, first important day. This is the war card. And the war could be war, like real war, or it can be a war in your mind, things like that. The relationship here is the family card. And this is the pity card. So what we're seeing is this woman is so... she is so confident. It's okay. So what's happening is this woman. Okay. So it feels like there's people coming into her life, almost like I want to say she has nieces and at least two young girls. And I feel like they live a very different lifestyle than she lives. And I feel like she's either taking them under her wing for like the summer, like, okay, stay with me for the summer. Or there's something where it's, okay, yeah, okay. So go ahead and Google and see if there was a war in France around that time in the 1930s-ish. See if there was something going on where the men went off or something like that, because it feels like there's something where the kids' parents just cannot I don't know, take care of them for some reason, and they're being sent to you, I feel like during wartime. And the war card though here is dual in that you see the kids are scattered within themselves. Like there's something very timid about them and you're very confident. And so there's a bit of a clash there as well as they see you, and it's almost like their eyes are so wide when they look at you because you are so like commanding. The presence here of this aspect of you is so commanding because you're so confident in who you are, and the pity comes because you see in the children, you see the lack of confidence. And so what we're looking at here is what we just talked about up here about being who you are so that others can be who they are too. Almost like if you give yourself permission to be your authentic self, you're showing people that they can do it too. And this might specifically relate to your kids, quite frankly. If you are noticing anything about the kids, and it could be your kids, or if you have niece, you know, the kids that you are people who are surrounding you, that are younger than you, the ones that might look up to you as like a role model kind of thing. This would indicate the amount of influence that you have over them that you're not even aware of, almost like they watch you when you don't know they're watching you, but also having to do with what we were talking about before too, with the energy influencing them in a way where it's subconscious. So it's almost like you being you stepping into your biggest version, your most confident version, despite any fear that comes along with that. And quite frankly, when there is fear and you do it anyway, that's incredible, you know? Like, there's always going to be fear. Like, it's normal. You have to understand, it's very normal. But to do it anyway, despite that, oh my God. Like, that's brave, man. Like, even the baby steps towards that, that's freaking brave. But just know that you are an influencer, even if you don't recognize that in yourself. And it's like time to recognize that. And it's also time to understand that everybody in the world affects a pocket of the world. Even if they don't see it or know it or feel it, your influence is felt, is seen. And so by you taking steps to follow your joy, to follow your passion, to surround yourself with things that bring out the best in you, bring out the confidence in you, bring out the creativity in you, by you doing those things, you are heavily influencing not just your family, but it's a ripple effect. And it's like you need to give yourself the permission to step into that version of yourself so that others give themselves permission to be their highest version as well. And that's what you want for your family, at least. That's what you want. So it's like time to transform so that others can transform too. I don't think you understand how much power you do have and how much influence you do have. And sometimes we won't. Sometimes we won't hear it. We won't hear it. We won't see it. You just have to know it, and maybe you feel it. When I say this, if it's resonating, maybe you can feel it, and you have to trust that that's your intuition. And that's time to like really understand that that's your intuition. You need to start paying attention to that and not ignore that or neglect that or put it off as like, oh, it's just a thought, blah, 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 and let it go away, because that's your intuition. When it feels like a gentle thought, that's your intuition. So the pity card comes in because you're like, I'm not having this in my house. Like, you're going to realize how special you are. And you really take these kids under your wing. And it starts with how you dress them. Almost like, hey, sorry, like, I know your clothes, you're used to like this gray conservative stuff, but all we have here is this crisp, white, beautiful attire for you. So you're just gonna have to get used to being beautiful. Sorry. Like that kind of thing. Sorry, you guys are gorgeous. You're gonna have to like flaunt it. Sorry. So yeah, and if you vibe with this in a way where if you notice any of the kids that you have around you being shy, this is not about like thrusting him into the spotlight to like freak him out. This is just like a gentle like, well, here are your options. You know, and then it's almost like showing them things that they weren't aware that they could pull off, or maybe that's even you, like you might not be aware of what you can actually pull off, and like you know what I mean? Like I don't know, I can't explain it, but it comes down to fashion again. Like if there's, look, this is gonna sound random and silly, but if there is a dang look that you want to like try, like you know, like what are those high-waisted jeans and a crop top, like just freaking try it. You're gonna like it. You know what I mean? Like, just try it. Like, don't talk yourself out of stuff, okay? Okay, we're gonna go to the next important day, and so keep making connections where you can when it comes to this here. But we are looking at someone who is an influencer, who is a, someone who has the capability to make people feel comfortable being themselves as well. This is something about making others feel comfortable in their own skin, and I feel like that's what we're getting at here is you can do that more profoundly, impactfully, when you yourself feels the most comfortable in your skin. But sometimes that starts with feeling discomfort because you have to conquer a fear, and then that discomfort becomes very comfortable. You realize, this is me all along. I just didn't have the confidence before to see that or try it. Okay, so anyway, there we go. So the next important day. Okay, so here is a death card, and here is a karmic card, and this is approval and disapproval card. Okay. So let's see what's going on here. I feel like these kids are your kids. At least one of them. At least one of them. There is a karmic tie. What happens is it feels like the parent figure dies or leaves in a way where they're no longer there. Either like, so let's say if the father went to war, he died at war, or if there was a father-mother and the mother was still alive, it's like she's like, just take them, they're better off with you, kind of thing, and she's kind of neglectful anyway. So we're seeing you kind of take over the mother role of these kids, but you're able to do it without like, you do it with such flair and confidence, and like you never, like, yeah, it's tiring and stuff like that, and it's new, and it's like, but you handle it so gracefully. So there's this grace about you that you're able to handle a lot under pressure and things like that, but still maintain this aesthetic confidence. And I feel like this is coming through because I feel like this might be something that it may be something you feel like you've been lacking in your life, but it's there. So again, it's about taking the baby steps and stepping into it, even if it's, again, surrounding yourself with an aesthetic or wearing an aesthetic or doing something creatively aesthetic that brings this confidence out in you. But it's showing you can handle anything. And I feel like this karmic thing is with your kids having to do with like choosing you again, because it was like you were the mother to them that they didn't get in the beginning. So they chose you in this current life to get you in the beginning from the start. And it's almost like there's something about looking in their eye, like there's a light shining out of their eyes of like, ugh, and I'm so emotional right now because there's something about like how much they love you and admire you. But it's almost like if they're, again, Carrie, if there is an insecurity that is coming to mind about you, I want you to know your kids know it, and they want you to be happy, and like they want to see you at your happiest and your peak. And I'm not saying you're not happy, but I am saying that it feels like there is just something there you're not stepping into, and it's like their soul knows it, and their soul has seen it in this life, and they want to see it back. They want to see you take it back. And I feel like that is where we are right now, in the energy of a transformation where you need to call this version of you back. And I think it starts with wearing something bold and surrounding yourself with bold color, or there's something where you need to be bold. And it has to do with like a beautification process on the outside and the inside that will enable confidence. And I swear it's more simple than you think. I think it's just making a choice to try something that you've been wanting to try that you haven't for some reason. Might be fear holding you back, insecurities, might be the role that you've assigned yourself in. But there's a step that you need to take. And if there is something coming to your mind, please do it, because that's the thing. And if not, just sit with this and process and see what's going on and meditate on it. But it's like these kids are like, there's something about them that is, there's something like seeing something in you that you're not seeing in yourself. And I don't know if you can see that in the way they look at you, or if you even like say like, it's not that you say it, but it's almost like the feeling of like how can how can you look at me like that? I'm nobody. Like almost like that. Like I'm not worthy of the look of admiration that I'm getting, is like this idea. And maybe not from it could be from anyone. Like I'm not worthy of the look of admiration. I'm not worthy of the look of love. I'm not worthy. If there is any of that going on in your mind at all, that needs to be cut out. You need to catch those thoughts and you need to let them fade away and replace them with, oh no, I am so worthy of this. I am beautiful and I am confident and I am a good person and I am an influencer. Like I am all these things. Like this is a magnificent energy, and you could tap into this whenever you need it. So yes, anyway, so just keep connecting with this however you can. And we're gonna go to the death card. But it does feel like these kids stay with you, you raise them, it's a wonderful family, it's loving, it's excellent, that kind of thing. So here we have the death card. This is accidental. So I'm just seeing what's going on here. The accidental card, what it feels like is, it feels like there's something in the time that is very popular. Okay, what's coming to mind is, you know those lady cigarettes? Like those lady cigarettes that are like really long back in the day, if you've seen like old movies or whatever, and it was really popular for them to walk around with their lady cigarettes, like these long smoky thingies that look glamorous. It's almost like that, where it's like it takes off years of your life, or it makes you, you know, sick in some way. Not like cancer or anything, but like if it is, then it doesn't affect you like with symptoms, it just takes off years of your life. Oops. Like that's what it is. It's like, but you couldn't help it. Nobody knew. It was just a thing of the times. And you weren't alone in that. So that's the only accident. It's kind of like neglect, not knowing. So if you're someone that really is like, I am not gonna smoke. No smoking for me. No smoking for anyone in this family. Like that kind of thing. That would be a connection in a way where it's opposite, where because it took years off your life, you're like, I'm not having any of it. But at the same time, if you enjoy it, that would make sense too, because it didn't knowingly affect you until it did. Like until, you know, that kind of thing. But that's it, really. There's really no big death thing happening here. Almost like it's kind of washed over because it doesn't really feel like it affects anything too much. But here's the gig with the lesson. The lesson is dream big, and I feel like that's what I've been explaining the whole time, is to step into your bigness. Like step into the bigger version of you. Step into your bigger voice, your bigger expression, your bigger desires, your bigger dreams, your bigger wants, your bigger everything. Like don't keep yourself small. Don't make yourself small. Don't make excuses to stay in the routine. Don't make excuses to stay small. Don't apologize for something that is not your fault. Take note of if you do apologize. And I'm talking about being aware. If you apologize for something, like if someone's like, oh, I feel like crap today. Just like a friend. If a friend's like, oh, I feel like crap today. And you go, oh, I'm sorry. Just don't do that anymore. Just say, oh, I hope you feel better. Take away apology, because I feel like there's something about apologizing that there needs to be like stopping apologizing for things that are completely out of your control, even if it's just to be nice. You know what I mean? And that I feel like is directly correlated to like switching on your confidence as well, because when we apologize, our subconscious is taking that as literal. It doesn't know that you're just being nice. It's like, oh, I'm at fault. So you're just like piling in more like guilt or shame or whatever, even if you don't intend it. So you need to stop with apologies where it's not warranted. Only apologize if you've like really hurt someone. You know what I mean? Like for real, if it's your fault, then okay, apologize. But if it's not, you need to cut that out. And understand that your words matter. So anyway, just connect with the Dream Big card and really go for it. And don't keep yourself small. This is the time for transforming into your bigger version of yourself, your highest self. And, you know, in that way, this is how you honor yourself. This is how you show respect to yourself, by doing that. Don't disrespect yourself or dishonor yourself by staying small, okay? So anyway, there is your past life. I hope you enjoyed it, I suppose. And I really just hope you made some connections with that. And thanks for letting me read you.